All right, guys, let's talk budget knives. What's going on, guys? It's Joe with Indo Daily, and today we're going to talk about some budget knives. Are they worth it? Is the materials good? And why would you choose this over a premium style knife? So I pulled out what I believe is every folding knife that I own that cost me less than 50 bucks at the time that I purchased it. I think I looked up one or two of these that might have been right at that 50 or higher mark now, but at the time I bought these were all 50 bucks or less. So we've got some Civivis, obviously a great budget brand. Now they've obviously got the Sing Cut as well. Ozark Trail over here, clearly going to be budget, just based off all the hype that's going around a lot of these right now. Got a Kaiser, a Buck, oh crap, what was this one? The Miguron Talisman, and the Swiss Tech absolute garbage knife, but that's just my personal opinion. So we'll kind of get started with some of these. I'm going to run through each one real quick, and we'll do some discussion. So first up is the Civivi Brazen. This one was right at that $50 mark that I paid for it. To be honest with you, this is probably one of the top two budget knives in this whole selection right here. We've got, what was it? D2 steel, red G10 handles, flipper tab, liner lock, thumb stud. This thing is a baller budget knife for sure. I mean, I think I said this was my best budget knife of 2025 that I purchased. Not made in 2025, obviously, but the best budget knife that I purchased last year definitely goes to the Civivi Brazen. This thing, one, is a full size, no doubt full size knife. I've never been the biggest Tonto fan, but this knife definitely was one of the Tontos that swayed me to thinking like I should definitely be carrying the Tonto blade. Liner locks are not my favorite, but when you're looking at budget knives, that's a lot of what you're going to get. And Civivi does a good liner lock. It is what it is. But the color combo on this, I would love. I looked at a lot of other colors. I actually had a conversation with a guy through the comments about all the different flavors that the Brazen has, because it was such, and I guess is such, a great selling Civivi knife. And this edge right out of the box, holy crap, was just razor sharp. So for less than 50 bucks, this is definitely a great budget knife. Next up, we've got the Civivi X Arc, which is a front flipper. Again, G10 scales, D2 blade. This one, the video I did on this is not one of my favorite. I got this strictly because I wanted to try a front flipper only knife, and this one was pretty cheap. I want to say about 30 bucks at the time that I bought it. Still a good knife for 30 bucks for what you get, and Civivi quality. Deep carry pocket clip and deep carry on the Brazen as well. Forgot to mention that. Another liner lock. Front flipper only. This one I think was just too skinny for me. Like, it just very long, narrow knife. It's definitely, I would say, a full handle knife for me, at least. You got this much hanging out the end. And I think I just got bored with it. I wanted to give another front flipper a chance. I like the idea of it, but I think this was strictly just a trial knife to see if I would like a front flipper. But still not a bad knife, just not my personal favorite, or not my cup of tea. So not a bad knife for the price that you get with the materials. Love the materials of D2 and G10, but the overall design of the knife just didn't really fit my style. So that's the only thing I'd say about that one. Then you've got the Civivi Mini Praxis. This thing was, I think, the first Civivi knife I bought at Walmart when they started selling Civivis. I absolutely love this. I've seen a lot of hate on it, saying, why not just buy the full size for a few dollars more? But if you're a small knife guy like me and you prefer to carry the mini versions of some knives, or you just like a smaller knife, this thing absolutely is one. I would say probably the other one in the top two. I don't know if I would put this or the Brazen at one. I'd have to think about that. but this thing is awesome. I love the design of it. I love the blade shape. I am definitely a Ferrum Forge design fan, and so this kind of gives me those vibes. And I think this thing is just awesome. Great deep carry pocket clip. The liner lock would be my only complaint because I feel like it feels a little more recessed in there than the other liner locks, and they're probably designed and put on the same way as the other ones, but the liner lock on the Brazen, it's just got a lot more grip to it, and so it's easier to get on there and close it up, whereas this one is much smaller. The the hand, or not the handle, but the jimping, I guess, on the liner lock is just not as prominent as the Brazen. But that would be my only very, very nitpicky complaint about the Mini Praxis is the liner lock is a little bit tougher when comparing it to something like the Civivi Brazen. But for $30 at Walmart, you cannot beat that deal. Again, I would definitely take this over the X-Arc as far as the same price and same materials, but that's because I love this design so much. And speaking of Ferrum Forge, the next one we've got is the now discontinued Civivi Odium. This was the knife I bought before I pulled the trigger on my Grail knife, which is the Wee Mini Malice. I love seeing these two compared side by side. It very obviously a Ferrum Forge, the little brother to the Wee Mini Malice. These things are just awesome. Like, these are two of my favorite knives. Obviously, this is my Grail knife, so that's going to be a favorite, but even the jimping on the liner lock is still more prominent and better handling than the Mini Praxis. And this is the knife I learned to do the the reverse flick with, and my brother as well. I let him hang on to this for a little bit and taught himself how to do the flick. So like, this knife has a lot of great meaning to me. Like, again, this was the step before I pulled the trigger on the Mini Malice. This is the knife I learned to flick the Spidey flick or reverse flick with. It's the smallest knife in my collection by far, but I can still get a great grip on it. The designs and the lines of this knife are just beautiful, but I will not rant on any more about that. I think I picked this up at GP Knives after they were discontinued. I got it on sale. Oh, I should have looked up all the prices to know for sure, but I want to say it was less than $40. I want to say even like $20 I got it on sale. Thing is just incredible. And then we get into the Ozark Trail. You've got the Tonto blade, blue aluminum scales, their crossbar lock, which at first, when I first picked this up, was super sticky. Like, it would, like, I'd almost have to yank it down like it was getting caught on something. Might have just been a break-in period, because ever since then that I've carried this or played with it, I have not had any stick issues. So I don't know what the deal was. Like I said, I'm assuming it was just a break-in period, because I have not had any issues since. And this thing, this was $20 at Walmart, and you've got 14C28 in steel, aluminum handles, crossbar lock, thumb studs, and a deep carry pocket clip with a spot for a lanyard if you want that as well. This was, I think, the first Ozark Trail knife that I bought once they, kind of stepped up their game. I've had some in the past, but this one was the first, like, good Ozark Trail knife that I bought, and I was super impressed with this. And so when you're looking at budget knives, I really don't think you can go wrong with a lot of the new Ozark Trail knives that are out. These three in particular are probably my favorites. They're great. We'll get to this one in a second. For the materials that you get, yes, the aluminum is a little slippery, but if you're holding onto your knife right, like, it's not going to slide out of your hands. I'm not processing deer with this thing. I'm not getting wet, muddy, and bloody with this knife. This is strictly an EDC knife for me. But again, it was a Tonto, and that was another thing that drew me to it, because it was after I picked up the Brazen. I'm like, you know what? I need another Tonto blade. And for $20, everything you get on that knife is incredible. I've said that the first review, and I'll say it again. That is an amazing price for those materials and the action on that thing. Is it action level as much as a premium knife? Absolutely not. Like, you can hear some clanking around on all the Ozark Trail knives as they open and close, but that's not even a complaint for me when you're looking at the price point that you're paying for some of these. Next, and this was in a recent one, I've been carrying this a lot more recently, is the Ozark Trail Elevation. I fell in love with this because I don't have a lot of clip points, but I love button locks. And so you've got 12 C27 steel, thumb studs, button lock, deep carry pocket clip, lanyard hole, and the action on this, like I'm willing to have a conversation about it. I don't care what anyone else says at this point. Like, this is my favorite Ozark Trail knife. I love the colors with the green and the anodized orange. I think those colors go well with a clip point style blade, just the heritage of it. And it's a full handle knife. And this thing is absolutely incredible. I have very few bad things to say about any of these Ozark Trail knives, excluding this one. Again, we'll get to that. But this elevation, man, that button lock is just so smooth. And I mentioned it in the last video I did on this one. The detent on it, it almost makes it feel assisted. Again, like I said before, might be a weak assist, but that thing just flies open. And for $25, you cannot go wrong with that knife. I promise you. Like, just if you don't have one, but you've got any other Ozark Trails, pick this one up. Like, just do it. Even if it sits in your collection, you're going to get it out every once in a while and mess with it and realize what a great bang for buck budget knife that is. And then we've got the orange was the original, bug out killer. I need to remember the names on these, but this is the, black version of the bug out killer, budget bug out killer. Good Lord. D2 steel, cheap handles, but same deep carry pocket clip, same spot for lanyard hole, thumb studs, great crossbar lock, great action. I mean, you can hear it kind of, I don't know, let me put it up to the mic. I mean, you can kind of hear the metal clanking around in here. That is obviously, for a $10 knife, what you're going to get. But man, and this is the same knife that my nephew has. I did a video with him. He's got the orange version of this. He told me he was literally cutting off tree branches, not big ass tree branches, but like tree branches, like just cutting them off with this thing. That kid uses it for anything and everything, and it is incredible how well it's held up. My brother said he's put an edge back on it, sharpened it for him, and then my nephew has sharpened it, and that thing is a tank for what he uses it for. It's got to be a good knife for $10 and get put through the ringer. Another great deal. And I'll get into more of why you would carry some of these budget blades. It's kind of the point of this video, but like, just going through these are awesome. And then you've got the $7 version of what I would say is the little brother of the bug out killer. This one, the crossbar lock on it, it is so slim. You can barely feel that crossbar compared to, look at that. Those are just sticking out of the sides. You get a full grip. It's not obnoxiously sticking out too far. You cannot even see the crossbar lock on this one. So it is a tight squeeze to really pinch that and close it up. This one's not my favorite. I like the black and white, the stormtrooper look. But I don't know. And the steel is the same steel as the fixed blades I tore up in the last video. I'll link that video up here if you want to check it out. So this is another one that I will get to as far as what you're carrying a pocket knife for. This could be a great knife for you. It really could. Like, depending on what you use, I don't like the crossbar on this. I think they made it too thin to where you can't even hardly see. Really doesn't even show up on camera. You can't even see the crossbar on there. But again, for $7, what you're getting, that's not a bad knife to throw in your truck, throw in your pocket for, depending on what your use case is. All right, so that's Civivi, that's Ozark Trail. We've got one Kaiser, and that is the Mini Militaw. I did look this one up on Amazon right before I started shooting this. It is right at $49.95 on Amazon. I want to say I got it for like 40, 45, or not long after they came out. This was another one I wanted to get because of the front flipper. Um, Liner lock is good, no issues there as far as being able to actually push it over. There's no jimping on the liner lock like the Civivis have, but there's also no issues really getting a hold of that to close it. I like that you can flick it. I like that you can slide it open with your thumb. I like the front flipper. I love the green G10 and the inlays on here. Spot for a lanyard. Awesome deep carry pocket clip. I love Kaiser's deep carry pocket clip. And then the lines and the design of this knife overall too is very clear why this is a super popular fast selling knife. Whether it's the mini, the fixed blade, or the original Militaw, like this is an incredible design and is such a sweet knife. Very, very, very thin blade steel or blade stock. So it is super slicey, perfect for EDC needs, light work stuff. I've had no issues with this knife in the time that I've owned it, and I've used it quite a bit. Then, oh gosh, we'll get to this one. We'll save the trash knives for last. The Miguron Talisman. This one I picked up because I saw somebody feature this brand in a YouTube video. I'd never heard of them, but I liked some of their designs, so I ordered this one off Amazon. It was like 30 bucks. Again, G10, tan G10, D2 steel, deep carry clip, liner lock. And it's a solid knife. I did not carry this as much as I thought I would or would want to. I do kind of like this up top here, but I don't know. I think the handle was just a little too bulky, and I realize it's not very bulky by any means now that I'm looking at it, but it's a little bit thicker than some of these other budget knives. And maybe that's why I didn't carry it as much. But overall, for $30, again, it's the same materials you're getting on a lot of these Civivis, G10 and D2, liner lock, flipper tab, and you can actually flick it with that groove up here. I don't know why I can't think of what this is called. But this is, again, the materials you're getting. For me, it just comes down to design, I think, and the thicker handle. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. For me personally, it's just personal preference. But overall, there's nothing wrong with this knife. I have not had any issues with the little bit that I have carried it. Super slicey and sharp right out of the box. Just a little bit too thick on the handle for me. So I think that was the main reason I stopped carrying it. Next up, we got a tie for last place right here. Either the Swiss Tech Werdig or the Buck, what was this number? The Buck 252. This one I picked up at the BX on base. It was a $27 knife. You get, I don't even remember. I want to say it was like 7 CR steel. Yeah, the initial review, I think I was trying to be too nice and didn't want to hate on it too much, but this knife sucks. Like, it really does. The liner lock is tough and stiff. It doesn't, there we go. Third time's a charm. It doesn't want to open smooth. The thumb stud placement is awful. It's like super high up, so it's hard to really flip it out. I like the blade shape. I like that cleaver style. The handle material is all right. It's a little, I don't even want to say it's a little small. Like, you can see it. It's got a full grip on it, but it feels smaller than it actually is. And so it's just very awkward and uncomfortable to hold. This is definitely a beater knife that, I should have saved the 27 bucks. That's all I can say. I should have gotten Chick-fil-A instead of buying this knife. But you live and learn. You go through knives and realize, you know what? This is why I paid $27 for this. But you look at this, $27 versus the Ozark Trail Elevation, where you've got 12 C27 steel, great button lock. I mean, the fact that this is $2 more than this one is, I'm sorry, it's embarrassing to Buck. Like, this is just crap, absolute crap. So I will not hate on this one too much longer. I will say, if you are into strictly budget knives, stay away from this one. Save your money. Go buy the Ozark Trail Elevation. you'll be much happier, trust me. So we got that. And then dead last is the Swiss Tech Werdig. Oh man, I was really excited to pick up a Swiss Tech. I thought that, hey, here's another great brand of knives that I can get from Walmart. And the thumb disc sucks. I mean, I finally got used to actually using the thumb disc and opening it that way. The flipper tab's all right. It's a liner lock. Liner lock's not terrible. Deep carry clip that's kind of sits down a little ways. But the biggest thing I hate about this knife is that I'm all for a loosey-goosey, nice flowing knife that opens up real smooth. But when I can just flick my wrist and the thing flies open, I feel like that's more of a safety than anything else. And like, it's even tightening it up. I did tighten it up, an Oz 8 steel on this one. It just, it's too loose. It's too, just not great. And I wasn't a fan of the anodized red when I picked it up, but for the price that it was, I thought, you know what, let's give this a try. God bless. Let's give this brand a try and see what they're all about. There was a lot of hype about it, and I fell for the hype, and I absolutely regret it. So these two are my bottom two budget knives, 100%, followed by this Ozark Trail. But let's talk about why. Why would you carry a budget knife versus a premium brand or premium material knife? So, for one, what's your use case for EDC? Are you using your knife as a tool to pry things open, to cut through everything, cut through drywall? Like, what is the level of what you're using your knife for? Like, are you just, and I hate to say this, 99% of the time opening mail, opening packages, maybe cutting through some strings, I feel like my daughters are asking me to constantly cut the tags off their clothes or their stuffies, and they're like, hey, let me have your knife, or will you cut my tag off my clothes? That's 99% of what I use my pocket knives for throughout the average day. They're not getting hard use, to be honest. Like, the most I would say is if I'm breaking down a bunch of boxes at work when we get a shipment in, and that's not a big problem whatsoever for really most of these knives. So if you are strictly using it because you want to have a knife on you, you want to have that tool on you, any of these bottom knives, let's put the crap up here. Forget those top three. I don't even think they would, I don't know. They would have a hard time cutting through a lot of stuff, and they're not comfortable to carry. Any of these bottom knives in this row and then the Kaiser, they're going to get the job done if all you're doing is opening packages like most of us do. Sorry to anybody that does more with their knives. Don't take offense. I'm strictly talking about the majority of us that use them strictly for small EDC tasks like that. Would I take any of these knives camping or out on a hiking trip? Maybe the Brazen or the Elevation, I would, as a small folder on a hiking trip, camping trip. But for EDC purposes only, any of these knives are going to get the job done for all those small tasks that you're doing. Once you get into anything above that, more hard use, like if you're, I don't know, I want to throw out like stereotypical jobs. If you're working construction, and you use your knife to just beat the crap out of everything and cut through anything, a couple of these would still do the job. Absolutely. But for everyday EDC tasks, this is why you would buy a budget knife. If you don't use a knife as much as, as much as somebody that does work that into their everyday carry, these are going to be great for you. It's going to save you some money. You're still going to get good materials like any one of these knives. And it's going to be a sharp cutting tool in your pocket for when you need it. That, I think, is the one biggest reason of why you would buy a budget knife versus a premium knife. And I think for all of us out there that use our EDC knives for minimal tasks like that, the reason we have premium knives is because they're freaking awesome. They're sweet. Like $250 for my Wee Mini Malice. Did I need a $250 knife with titanium handles and 20 CV steel? No, absolutely not. I've cut open the same types of packages with a $250 knife versus a $30 knife. And guess what? They cut the same. They cut the same. This might hold a better edge, might stay sharper longer, it might be tougher. But for my personal use of what I use my knife for every day, down to the $10 knife would do the job. 10 bucks, 250. You're paying for materials, and that's perfectly fine. Absolutely. Because as a knife collector and somebody that loves knives, loves the hobby, loves the community, that's why we pay so much damn money for pocket knives. Because we love the collection. We love to show off our knives. We love to show off our gear. But at the end of the day, if you are strictly just needing a knife to cut shit open, right? Cut open a box, cut open some mail, break down some cardboard, who knows, whatever you're doing. These knives are going to be what you need and all you need. Now, if you're collecting knives and you love the hobby, you love the knives like, most of us, all of us in the knife community do, that's where you get into the premium knives, right? But for the use case of, hey, I'm just carrying it because on the off chance I might need a knife for something, I'm not trying to break the bank. Any of these under 50 bucks, and even if 50 bucks you think is too much for a knife, get an Ozark Trail. Get whatever this one's called. Get the blue aluminum handled one, get the elevation, get the bug out killer. You got 20 bucks, 25 bucks, 10 bucks. That's not breaking the bank by any means. Shoot, if you want, get the $7 knife. It's still got an edge. You're going to be sharpening it more. It's going to dull faster because it's a super cheap steel. Get a $7 knife or an $8 knife from Walmart, and that's going to do the job for you. If 30 bucks is your limit, you've got the mini Praxis. You've got the not the mini Miltol anymore. You've got the mini Praxis. You've got the Brazen. You've got the X-Arc. Like, you've got the Miguron Talisman. You've got great knives out there for 30 bucks or less. You've got great knives out there for 50 bucks or less. So depending on what your budget is, or if you don't believe in spending more than 30 bucks on a knife because you're just not into the community or you're not a collector, there's still so many great options out for you here. And these are just very few. I mean, you could really, really find some great tools and some great knives for less than 50 bucks, for less than 30 bucks. But if you're like me and you just love collecting knives because you love the hobby of it, then yeah, go out and buy a $250 knife because you're going to tell a huge difference in the action of it, in the edge retention and the toughness. You're gonna see a huge improvement. But again, and for the last time, if you carry a knife because you have minimal tasks that you're doing for it, pick up any one of these knives minus these three. Boo. Pick up any one of these knives and you're gonna be happy. Great brands, great quality. You got Civivi, great up and coming knives, and really busted out of their shell this past couple years with Ozark Trail. Get on Amazon and look for something off like this. Miguron's got a lot of great knives. They've got some great premium knives with better materials and better handles. Kaiser. I can never say enough good about Kaiser. I have not had a knife from Kaiser yet that I haven't liked or haven't loved, really. So I would really highly recommend, if you need a cheap knife to get the job done, look at Civivi, look at Ozark Trail, look at Kaiser. They're just incredible knives and great for what you need them for. So that, I would say, is the biggest reason to carry a budget knife. So that's my spiel. That's my knife talk for this week. That's this knife talk episode. I would love to hear from you guys. Please drop a comment on what your favorite budget knife is. Share some pictures. I'd love to see different brands and different style of knives out there, because I still want to find a budget buck that, holds up to the name, and not this one. I want to find a great budget buck knife. I've got a Canoe Buck Canoe, which is just the large blade and the smaller blade, and it's a slip joint. It's a good knife. I love it. It was super cheap, but that's more of a sentimental knife for me. The only other one that I just realized, I might have to look this up. So if I'm wrong, go ahead and let me know. The petrified fish. Oh no, why is my brain blank? Pub. That's what it is. The petrified fish pub. I want to say this is a relatively cheap knife. This could potentially go into this list, but this is a hunk of a knife. Like, this thing is ginormous. D2 steel, G10 handles with like a carbon fiber type of inlay, um, liner lock, and flipper tab. So this thing's a big hunk. Definitely don't carry this. It's too big for me and what I like to carry, at least for EDC purposes, but still a good knife and super. Look at the point on that thing. Like, that thing's got, that's going to pierce some stuff. So I mean, it's a good knife. It's a good materials. I just don't prefer to carry bigger knives like that. So to wrap this all up, show me your budget blades. Let me see what you got and carry. What do you consider the limit for what is considered a budget knife? For me, I would say $50 or less, but that's because I also like premium knives and have spent a few $100s on some of my knives. And so, and that is even nothing in comparison to other people's collections. Like, I would love to have a collector knife one day, a one-off of, a Chris Reeve knife or something like that. But until I hit that lottery, that's just not going to happen. So let me know two things. Show me your budget blades. Tell me what your limit is for a budget knife. So thank you all for watching. If you're still watching to this point, I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Let me know if there's any other kind of content you want to see. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be going back to GP Knives next month in February to pick up some more gear, some more knives. And I'm looking forward to going back out there and talking to JD and doing some pocket dumps. So again, thank you all for watching so much. I really appreciate all the support and love. Thank you. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next video.